Well, Matt, thank you for helping me out. I have a little laryngitis going on. How's everyone's weekend? Let's hear it. Gratitudes, wins, victories.
Oh,
Rick, please.
I was able to retrieve my camper that I had to leave out of town this weekend. So I blew my truck up and I went and bought a new one.
Woohoo!
And that is a major victory for me because I'm just absolutely loving it.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you buy the same thing or?
Much bigger, badder truck.
That's great. That's great. Congrats on that. Anyone else? Yes, John.
Yeah.
Oh, good job. A great way to end a weekend. Anyone else? Gratitudes, wins. I see some new faces and please.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm grateful to be fairly physically fit, as old as I am. I was able this Saturday to
45.
this Saturday I was able to take a Boy Scout troop on a 15-mile hike
Wow, that's amazing.
in hot weather, working on their Eagle board.
Wow, great.
It was a good experience.
That's wonderful. How did the kids do 15 miles?
Pretty good.
That's
They
amazing.
learned the value of the importance of hydration.
How important that
That's
is.
the only thing that can stop them.
The gratitude of water, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's successful. That's nice. Gratitudes, wins. Anyone else? We have some new faces in here. I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves. Please, let's start with you right here.
I'm Carson Emery. Yeah, I'm in high school right now. I'm just looking to get my real estate license.
Love it.
Wow,
Yeah.
starting young. Well, welcome, Carson. That's exciting. And then we have a couple in the back. I have not met you yet, so I don't know how long you guys been here.
We actually work downstairs at Vanguard.
Yeah, work at Vanguard. Oh,
Just started July 1st. I'm Ryan
woo!
I'm Yep.
Xiaomi? I'm sorry, what was your name?
Ryan.
Ryan. Okay, well that's great.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
Thanks.
It's nice for you. And we have Inspiro here too.
Thank you.
I'd like you guys to, don't forget their summit on the 13th. It's really important. It's always amazing. We have George, Jeremy, and Amy Clark is going to share some of her real estate strategies and just her journey. And then we have, of course, we have the Calabunga Bay 31st. I don't know if RSVPs are still happening or not.
You still can. I think
You can,
there's-
right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a lot of fun. The whole company is there, so if you have not RSVP'd yet and you would like to go, please check with Becky. We have Toastmasters on Wednesdays, and don't forget Base Camp. I think George is doing Base Camp this week, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be great. We have Tony Robbins in November. If you guys are interested, we have discount tickets. Please get with Lindsay Wardle. You can call Becky and she can transfer you over there just to get more information, or you can email her. I think that's it for the events for now.
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. That really does help your presentation and enhancing like your speaking skills and just getting in front and facing your fears. And so please, it's every Wednesday at 1 p.m. You're welcome to come as a guest to evaluate first and just to kind of see how you feel about that. Because everything is a presentation. And so on that note, I wanted to kind of go over 18 points real quick and what we went through with Mike Ferry. I've been kind of in and out of the office for a little bit. I'm going through some stuff with my dad, so I'm grateful for all the support and the love and the medical these days, the technology that we have, and they're really helping him out. So I have a lot of gratitude this coming weekend and meeting friends and family. It's been great. But I wanted to go over just 18 quick points. So if you guys can take some notes, and I want to kind of talk things through a little bit as well. He says, how to become a great presenter. Everything is a presentation that we do, right? Everything we do, the way we talk, the way we walk, engagement that we have with anyone, right? Sometimes it comes naturally, and sometimes we work on it. Now, casual conversation or anything that we have with someone that we know or family members or friends that comes naturally. You present yourself. I mean, you don't really, open the door and just start talking about all the difficulties in your life, right? You take that time, so it becomes a presentation of how you present yourself. It's your personality platform. And so I just wanted to go over the 18 points that he talks about and kind of see where we struggle and where we can improve. Number 1, walk, speak, and present with authority. What do we mean by that? Like, we obviously know they see us before they hear us, right? So what do we mean by that?
When you walk into a room, or a person who is a leader or owns their space, you almost feel them when they walk in.
Absolutely.
So it's about how you show up in somebody's life. Everything, body language,
Absolutely.
what you're doing is speaking louder than your words.
Yeah, your intention and what you want to present actually makes it to them before you even start talking, right? So when they say speak, first is body language. It's how you smile. It's how you shake their hand. It's how you say hello. It's just starting, thank you, acknowledging, right? Tap. We have thankful, thank them, acknowledge them, and promise, right? So believe what you are saying. If you do not believe it, practice it before you present. So practice over and over and over again. They say even 1 hour is probably not enough. Whatever you're working on, I know scripts change and the things that you work on, like if it's for sale by owners or it's expired or it's phone calls, practice your scripts first, because if you know what to say, it gives you confidence and you're able to present. Either you're on the phone or you're in person or you're door knocking. Door knocking is probably the most that I would say this goes hand in hand. If you're there with authority and you know why you're there and you're presenting your business and you're presenting the reason why you're doing this business, they believe you. They believe you, your intent comes across and you become that professional. So speak with authority, whether it's just a hello, how's it going? Hey, I'm here for this intention. Your introduction, it lets you lead them. Second, know when to disagree and redirect the objection with a strong question. So instead of answering the objection, like we handle, like Matt, give an example.
An example of an objection?
Yes, when you have an objection, redirecting it with a question. Like was saying, well, I don't want to list it at that price.
Oh, Ruby, of course you don't. Share with me what's important to you about the price you have in mind.
Right there. Because then it doesn't become an objection anymore. It becomes an inquiry of their doubt, right? It becomes that inquiry of their doubt, and they come to a resolution without having that objection anymore. They're saying, well, we need to net this much. Oh, well, you're trying to net the most money out of your pocket. Okay, that's wonderful. What is so important in that? Because when you start asking those questions and redirecting it, instead of handling the objection, you kind of find out exactly why they brought that up in the first place. So it doesn't become an objection anymore. It becomes a clarification of a doubt that they have, which is great. 3, learn to add a little humor. Okay, I'm not saying try to pull out a book of jokes. Like, don't do that. But one time I was meeting with a couple. And I can tell that he was looking at his wife continuously. She got up and walked out of the room while I was presenting and I was asking him questions. And I said, and he looked at her and she just walked away because I think her phone rang. And it was funny. And I said, do you want me to continue or should we wait for her so we don't have to start over? And he said, I think we should wait for her. And we kind of laughed. We had a good laugh because she's obviously the authority. He's like, well, she's going to kind of want to see what we're talking about. And it's funny because it lightened up the mood. He's like, honey, we're waiting for you. Come on, hurry up. She doesn't have all day. So it lightens things up and it kind of gets you on their side. A little laughter breaks the tension. 4, we have to learn how to ask, more so confront, and handle the objections. Don't be afraid to confront because you're not there to create a fight with them or pick a fight with them. You're ready to confront them so they come to the logical conclusion of their thoughts. And that goes hand in hand with number 2, where they have doubt. If you confront them saying that we can't get this price because of the CMA, so share with me more what is important to you that you need to reach this price, because looking at our CMA, looking at the comparables that we showed you, we can only sell it at this price. So share with me that. So confront them saying that this is what I do and this, have that authority, right? Confront them, and that's okay because it leads to more questions. Number 5, you have to know your presentation inside out, back and forth. Be successful at presenting and have trigger cards. You can have your script in front of you. it's okay. Because you can redirect the questions. If you practice your script and you know the presentation inside out, and have little notes. Okay, don't forget, like a checklist. Don't forget to ask these questions. If you don't want to keep reading from your script but you know it, don't forget to take like a trigger cards or those questions. It's not just the 3 questions that we do in presentation, it's everything else to get to the proper conclusion.
A real important point on this very thing here. Imagine yourself in a crowd and you got picked out to do the Star Spangled Banner
Oh
in front of people.
yeah.
We all know it, we've all heard it, we love the song. Could you do it in front of people with all eyes watching you? And for most of us, that's absolutely not.
Yeah, you get nervous, right?
You're gonna
The
get
fear gets in
nervous,
front of you.
but if you did know it, could you? These scripts should be known that well to where you could get up and sing it in front of a bunch of people
Yeah.
and emotionally connect. That's a great indicator of really where are you with your scripts.
Absolutely. If you internalize them, it comes out easy, like a conversation, instead of you saying, hold on, and then a light bulb goes off, right? So it gets you off of track. If you keep that energy and you keep that positive energy and you have those scripts internalized, you know what you're saying. So no matter what objections or what doubts that come to you during your presentation, you can always redirect back to it. Always be presenting to the end result. What does that mean? So let's say 2 minutes into it, they're ready to sign, but you haven't gone over everything. So what does that mean, presenting till the end? Share with me what you guys think about that.
Well, everything you talk about should be working toward a close.
Absolutely, right there. Because let's say they agree with you, like, oh yeah, that's great, this is great, okay, let's sign the contract. Oh, well, you know, I have this doubt, and you share us a little story, and then they get off track, and then you go back to business, and then, but they have those doubts. So always be presenting to close, always, and stick with it until they sign the contract, then talk about your financials and share those things with them. 7, if you want to be a great presenter, use tonality to win the conversations, the upswings. They create questions, and they create confidence in what you're asking them. So tonality is the language, it's the tone, it's the excitement, it's the energy that you bring in the presentation. If you have great presentation in the beginning and then it kind of dies down, you don't want that. You want to be consistent in your presentation and elevate your language even more when you're presenting. Tonality can win, like even if you have someone that's analytical and you want to share numbers and you want to share all those things, it kind of depends on who's in front of you, but always keep that energy level really high. Number 8, asking questions that bring a logical conclusion. Now this comes to like a price reduction. If you're going to meet with someone and you know that their expectations are unrealistic and they're going to want you to list at $450 when you know the house cannot be worth more than $425, what do you do for that? Like, what do you do to set an expectation up front to get a logical conclusion?
Ask more questions first off. You gotta understand what they're saying, what they're doing, and where they wanna go.
Pre-qualified.
Pre-qualify.
Pre-qualify on the phone. When you reach them and you have just that 1 or 2 objections, then you know that usually it's a price reduction. If you want to meet with them anyways, you know there's a great client, it's a great listing, but the price is too high, add the price reduction form into the presentation or the listing packet and saying, okay, we're going to work great together. The only thing that's stopping us now is the price. So let's come to this. No, we're not selling it. We're not selling it at this. We're going to list it higher. So put the price reduction form into the packet. Yes.
Ruby, it's really important as we navigate through this and trying to actually get the vision of what they're trying to accomplish, which will help us drill down stronger on their
Absolutely.
why. And it's about getting to their why of what they're doing, because the why will overcome the price.
Absolutely. But if that is, like, when you ask those questions and you understand the reasoning for it, then you're able to go in with that. That's why pre-qualifying is so
Yeah.
important. But if you know that the price is going to be, add that in there, saying, okay, well, I understand, this is where we're going, but let's go ahead and try it at this, and then in 2 weeks, we're going to reduce the price to this. Is that okay? Then if they're wanting to work with you, they're wanting to sell that, and the motivation is high, they will agree with you. So those are little things that you can do to make your presentation powerful, and your pre-qualification will kind of have you fly through that. Yes.
The other thing you're doing there is you're preventing later discomfort,
Absolutely.
which is huge.
Absolutely.
You're just taking a barrier away in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. You're becoming their leader. You're guiding them through this, and you're telling them the process even before it's starting, which is great. People really, really like that. Any other thoughts on that? So pre-qualifying is the most important thing when you go to a presentation because you have no objections to deal with if you do the pre-qualification. Number 11, remove the fears they have by asking the questions, by giving them facts, figures, and numbers to the end result. It's more like doing your market research. If you're going to go to a presentation and it's up in Cottonwood Heights versus West Jordan, you know, if you're going to present to them and if you don't know what kind of schools are in the area, you don't know how the homes are selling, you don't know what's going on in the neighborhood, those doubts will be created. But if you have that information, you become the expert. You become this book of knowledge and they look to you for everything. So always be closing with facts, numbers, well, with the analytical more, but have those available with you. If you do the market research and you know what you're doing, any objections that they throw at you, like, oh yeah, you want to be near this school. It shows importance, it shows intention, and it also shows that you are the expert in the area, hands down. Yes, Chris.
I found, going based off of what Rick said, and asking questions, know which numbers are important to them.
Absolutely.
Because the worst thing in the world is when someone just glazes over and people typically aren't going to stop you and say, whoa, what did that number mean again? So they need to be the numbers that are applicable to what's important to them.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great point. When you're pre-qualifying and you know that the only doubt that they will have is where they want to buy, how they want to sell, how much they can sell for, and what brings value to their neighborhood and the market, right?
Well, really, they all have to feel comfortable, no matter what the approach is. You gotta feel comfortable about the numbers. You got their name. You gotta feel comfortable with everybody, so on board and feels
Absolutely.
good about it. It all goes back to the emotion of how they feel.
Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. So be the expert in the neighborhood and especially in the area. Know your statistics. Study them before you go out. I would actually sit down on Sunday and study everything.
Yeah.
The reports come out. Know the interest rates. Know the good deals that are going on out there. And know the neighborhood and what it's selling. 12. Remain constant in what you are saying and duplicate your presentations continuously. Like go back to your scripts. If you get sidetracked, it's okay, but learn how to go back to your presentation. It's really important to stay business oriented because you are there to do a job, you're there to be clear for an intention. Right, that's really important. 13, to be a great presenter also, practice all the time. Fit that in your schedule. Have a separate time, not just in prospecting, maybe before you prospect, set a half hour. I mean, we have role plays in the morning, but people that cannot make it for role plays, please set a time to practice your scripts, especially if you're going to get on the phones, or you're going to present, or you're going door knocking, and record yourself. It's really important for you to understand your language, your energy, your tone. I think that's what's important there too. Number 14, stay with the business during the presentation, even if they are at SOI. Right? Even if they are someone that you know, stay in your presentation as a business person. And stay focused on your presentation until the close. Even if they are someone that you know, someone that you're friends with, someone that even if they're family members. Stay business oriented till the close. I think that's really important. Even if you get distracted with personal stories, if you stay on the business point, then they hear you out and they know that you're the professional. And then you have your little stories. 15, try to maintain the balance between the logic and emotion. You sometimes don't have two people that are extremely emotional, hopefully. Sometimes they can be. But learn the logic and try to find a balance between the two that are presenting to or the client that you're presenting to. What do we mean by that? Maintaining the balance between logic and emotion. Like some people will get emotional about the numbers, or some people will get emotional about the sale. Please, share with me.
Well, buying, selling a home is a tremendously emotional experience.
Absolutely.
And well, really, any decision is an emotional experience.
Yeah.
But we have to control the emotion and direct the emotion by the logic that we use.
Better logic.
You know, it would be great if we sold this house for $500,000, but
Right.
I can't get a comp to even get close to 300. So
Right.
right? So how, help me logically understand how that would work,
Absolutely.
and that takes them out of the emotion a little bit.
Right. That's
By
what you're there for, right? You're there for the reality of a presentation and the value of the home. And it does get emotional. Yes, John, please.
That comes back to know who you're presenting to.
Two, right.
Me, I'm an emotional person. My wife, she thinks more logically. So if I tell her I want to do something
Right.
and she says no, and then I start talking about emotions, it doesn't sway her at all.
Right.
But if I say logically, this is what it's going to do for the both of us,
Right.
and she go, oh, okay.
That's true.
But and it took me a while to learn that.
Right. It does. It takes time to know who's in front of you. And you can talk amongst each other. That's why the balance for you to bring is so important, saying that and acknowledging. If you acknowledge the emotion, but then you go back to logic, that's what kind of wins them over at that moment. Like, oh, well, that's great. I understand that's really emotional for you. Let's go ahead and see what we can do about that, and then go back to the logic, go back to the numbers. Like Michael's saying, it's all about how you are presenting and to whom you're presenting to. If you have the balance between the emotion and the logic, you're the logical person there. And you want to show the intention and respect their emotion, but also come to a logical conclusion of the cell. Right? 16. Personal appearances must match your presentation style and must be professional. What do we mean by that? Sometimes it could be that you're presenting to your friends, right? Or it could be that you're presenting to your family. But should you still be matching your presentation? Of course. You don't want to go over with like beach shorts and the tank top and you go through your professional presentation, right? So match your presentation and be professional till the end. 17. Present in a manner that a client will want to stay with you forever. If you create that relationship with a client and you have that intent clear and you build that trust, you want them for life. You want to get return business from them. You want to ask them for business. And you want them to be successfully in your database to create that for you continuously. So try to have that intent and ask them for return business when you do that. 18, record your presentation. It's so important because all the hiccups and all the struggles and all the little, I think the space moments that we have, like, oh shoot, what am I supposed to say, right? If you record yourself, you're like, oh, I can do that better, I can do that better. You're your best and worst critic. If you know, like, oh, I don't like it that way, let's present it like this. Let's talk like this. Matt started to do videos. I like those. The live videos that he's been doing. He's talking about real estate. He's talking about things that he does. And he's talking about motivational things. And it's good to start getting over those fears by recording yourself. Because when you record yourself, you know how you are coming across. You know how you're presenting. You know how you're talking. You know how you're smiling. Or if you're not smiling, right? It comes off in your energy. It comes off in your presentation. Not just in person on the phone. Thank you for smiling. That's great. But that's so important, right? Why is that important even when you're on the phone? Why is it important to record yourself?
You know how you sound.
Right. And it's the energy levels that come across, and people can tell if you're not happy on the phone. Yes, right.
The recorder machine won't lie to you.
It won't lie to you. It's true.
Right.
It won't spare your feelings, right? You will get even better and better if you record yourself. I think it's so important. Even when on the phone, if you have low energy, they'll be able to feel it. Your intention comes through in your energy. Yes, Rick?
Ruby, for me, it was a real eye-opener that what I thought was confidence, I was coming across as an ass. So it's interesting how you can adjust based on tone alone.
Oh yeah.
And it's a massive difference between confidence and being an ass.
Yeah.
So it's how you approach it. But I could not identify that until I recorded myself.
Absolutely. Because you don't know. When somebody tells you, well, it's that look you have. What look? Well, you don't know because you're not looking at yourself. That's why they say put a mirror when you're prospecting so you're smiling so your intention comes across, because if you don't like the way you're smiling and your energy, how's somebody else going to like it, right? And we're presenters, so we gotta kill it with that. So I think that's great. Any other comments on these?
That mirror is huge.
It's huge.
That's been a really great upgrade to my prospecting.
You have one, right?
I have
That's
a mirror
great.
in front of me.
Yeah. Because when you're talking, it's your body language. Even when you're on the phone, when I'm on the phone, my hands are moving, I'm talking, because I feel like I'm having an in-person conversation. So it helps you speak with more animation, and immediately you have more energy when you do that. If you go up to, I mean, come on, it's just even in person, if you go to the gas station or you go to the grocery store, how are you doing today? And they're like, but if you're like, hey, okay, how much is it? Like, they're like, oh gosh, get out of here, right? They want to get through it quick as possible. But if you're there and you're going to have an engagement and you have a great smile and you have a tone, it immediately changes their energy and yours together. And you have an experience that lasts a little bit longer, and it's better when you leave the store, right? It leaves them a good feeling, oh, I like that customer. Or like, I go to the bank all the time, the same bank. I'm always in there smiling, even though I'm like, okay, just losing money, just paying bills, whatever. But you go there and you have that energy. You have that energy that, okay, you're taking all my money, but fine. I still like you. And you're happy. And you want no, okay. It happens.
Are you emotionally connected right now?
Emotionally connected, I really am. And I'm trying to buy a new car, so it's a little hard right now. But it's just, it comes through, you guys, your energy, and practice it every day. When you pass other agents, hey, how are you doing? Practice your handshake. Practice your body language. Come to Toastmasters. Honestly, when you are presenting and you get critiqued by yourself and your colleagues, you want to get better. Because if you do that outside, automatically you win 50% of their attention when your body language speaks professionally and you have great energy. Nobody wants to work with someone that doesn't have good energy. I can hands down tell you that, unless they're, real down, or then it'll work. Yes.
Just, this is something funny I remembered, but probably over a year ago, I just made a comment.
Yes.
About here in our, subdivision here, that when I say hello to agents, they didn't say hello to me.
Oh.
So I make a big deal about it.
Oh.
And actually, when I see people, they start smiling at me because, that's the way to go. So if we're preaching here and we're not doing anything actually in our own base,
Absolutely.
what are we going to do with clients?
that.
And I tell you, I always try to be positive in that part.
That's great.
Because when I see an agent, hi, it looks like I know exist, I feel like here's on the drugs or whatever, chemical balance, whatever you want to call.
Right.
But we need to start acting what we're preaching.
Absolutely.
And then I'm telling you, and I even actually dealing with even people that here, they're brokers. Sometimes I don't know what they're happening.
Yeah.
We need to come out with that mood and be able to smile to everybody and be able to be more positive, because that energy is what we're bringing during the day.
Absolutely. If you practice that, it becomes natural. It becomes natural.
Yes.
And you have that engagement with someone, even just passing by, hey, how's it going? Even that's as simple as that. You're smiling, you're talking, you're violent, then you're approachable.
Yeah,
You're
totally.
approachable, people will trust you, and then they'll start asking you questions. Especially when you want to work with someone, building that instant rapport, it's your platform, it's your personality. If you're not able to engage in that first 5 to 10 seconds, they immediately know how you are. And they're like, oh no, I don't like that person. You can't be on just when you're presenting. If you make that a part of your lifestyle and you start to improve the way you want to present, then honestly you start breathing it, right? You start breathing the presentations all the time. I think that's great. Okay? Any other comments? This is great. I wanted to share this just because since we came back from Mike Ferry, I've been focusing on this myself. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get better at presentation. Sometimes my sister will tell me, what does that look for? I'm like, what look? I'm like, okay, I gotta go back and fix that. But I think that's important. Okay. Well, let's have a great week. It's Monday, so let's go get kicked back. Matt? How's my voice?
You got it.
Alright, closing affirmations. I succeeded in
I know how I talk to new people. I know what's important to me. I remember people's things. I have days when I'm not calling. Or that last about little things. I know this is my greatest goal. I like asking questions and listening. I enjoy reading to improve myself. My philosophy, my approach to practice. I also my dreams daily. My presentation are great. I improve my skills daily. I am happy. I love processing my message. I see my future is awesome. I love my life. I am grateful, thankful. I control my talk to you.